Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Nicolette Amarillas. I'm an exercise coach and a posture and movement specialist. And today I have a special mobility class for you. We're calling it Posture Prep because it's a great way to prep your body for either a workout or the day ahead. So I encourage you to do this mobility class every day if you want to, either before exercise, so kind of like your little pre-workout snack, or you could do it at the top of your day, even if you're not working out. What this mobility class is going to do is help improve your spinal position and also just stretch and mobilize areas that tend to get really tight, while also strengthening important areas that tend to be a little bit weak. We're starting off with a spinal mobility with a foam roller, then we're moving into a pec and shoulder stretch. From there, we're going into a hip stretch, and then finally, we're doing a low back strengthening exercise to finish off the mobility class. You will need a couple of things. You're going to need a foam roller. Now, I have this thin foam roller that's a little softer, less dense than like a classic foam roller. And I will link this in the description below, but you don't need this one. If you have just a regular foam roller, that's totally fine. And then I'm gonna be using a stability ball, so a big like exercise ball for the pec stretch, but you don't need that either. You could use the side of a couch, you could use your workout bench, you could use the side of your bed, really anything that's maybe like hip height when you're standing or shoulder height when you're kneeling so that you can stretch out the front of the shoulder. And then the last two exercises don't need any equipment at all, but I do recommend having a mat. Let's get into it. Our first exercise will utilize that foam roller. So if you don't have your foam roller handy, go ahead and pause the video, go grab it, and then come back to me. Once you have your foam roller, let's get into it. So we're starting off with what's called horizontal thoracic mobilization. The foam roller is horizontal to your torso, which is kind of where it gets its name from. Now we're starting the movement by lying on the foam roller. Where we place our body on the foam roller is really important. So I'm gonna have you bring your arms out to the shape of a T, okay? So straight out from the side of you. From here, I want you to roll down so the roller comes up so that the roller ends up being just right underneath your arm, okay? This tells me we're approximately in the right place. So it's high enough that it's at the top of your shoulder blades, but not so high that it's slipping away from you toward your neck. From here, you're gonna bring your hands behind your head and open up your elbows. Go ahead and watch me for one rep first, and then you can get into it with me. So what we'll do is we'll inhale as we lower the upper body down, so the head and the shoulders down toward the floor, opening up the chest and creating extension through the spine. Now, when you're at the bottom, exhale through the mouth. But the key here is to not exhale as you come up, but to actually exhale at the bottom, let gravity pull you down, and then bring yourself up to neutral, okay? We're gonna do 3 repetitions at this spot, and then we're gonna move spots 5 times and do 3 reps at each spot. Just follow along with me, I got you. Let's get going. First, we'll inhale and lower the body down. Exhale at the bottom, let gravity pull you down, and then come back up to center. And again, inhale. And then back up. Last one. Back up. Now we're gonna lift the hips and roll 1 vertebrae. Vertebrae aren't very big, so we're talking literally this much. It's not very much at all. So I'm gonna lift my hips, I'm gonna roll up so that the roller goes down, and then I'm gonna drop my hips. So I really didn't move much. Look at my arms. My arms are still touching that foam roller. It's very small. From here, hands behind the head again. 3 more reps. Inhale. One more. Bring yourself up, lift the hips, 1 small roll. Now we're in between the shoulder blades a little bit lower, and 3 more. Inhale. Big stretch at the front of the chest, elbows reach down to the floor. 1 more. As we go lower on the torso, it might start to get a little bit more intense. That's normal. We have 2 more spots to do. We're gonna lift the hips, we're gonna roll back. We're still over the shoulder blades. If you're lower than your shoulder blades, go back up. Inhale. Now you might find that you have more range of motion, so it's easier to get lower, but it might feel more intense. And make sure you're exhaling at the bottom. You're not exhaling as you come up. I really want you to exhale at the bottom because it allows the body to settle in to the mobilization and to the stretch. We have 1 more. Lift the hips, roll back. Inhale, last one. So I'm like basically at the bottom of my shoulder blades. Feeling a big stretch at the front of my body, but also just feeling a lot of mobility happening through my spine and the back side of my body. Ooh, feel that. 1 more. And then when we get off the roller, we're gonna roll to the side. We're not gonna roll straight up. So exhale at the bottom and then come back to neutral. Listen to me closely and then rotate, rolling onto the side in order to get off of the foam roller safely. You can set your foam roller aside. We won't need it for the rest of class. The next exercise, you will need the Swiss ball, you'll need the bench, you'll need your couch, you'll need your ottoman, like I was explaining before. So I'm gonna be using a stability ball. We're doing what's called a pec minor stretch to stretch the front of the shoulder. The pec minor is a pesky little muscle that tends to get really tight. And when it gets tight, it pulls our shoulders forward. So what we'll do with this is we'll bring the elbow and the forearm and the hand onto the ball or whatever platform you're using. From here, I'm making sure that when I'm down, my elbow is not over my shoulder and it's not under, it's right at my shoulder. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm coming down, keeping my arm up and dropping my chest to create a big stretch in the chest, okay? So I'm gonna show you from this side first. Elbow, hand, forearm, other hand is on the floor. My hips are over my knees, not sitting back, so that I have more weight in my hands, and then we're dropping down. Let's hold this for 30 seconds. Now I can drop to the forearm of my other arm because I have that mobility. About 20 more seconds. Breathing into the stretch, letting gravity pull you down. Let's go for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself up. Now, if you want to hold that longer, you can pause the video and hold for like another 30 seconds. But I'm trying to keep this class shorter so it's not too long and easy to do before a workout. Okay, so we're getting into the other side. So now you get to see the other side. And mostly what I want you to look at is the position of my hips. Yes, my booty's up in the air. No big deal. But notice my hips are not back, because when my hips are back, I don't feel a stretch. I'm really trying to put weight into my upper body so that I really feel that stretch through the chest. And I'm feeling a deep stretch right here through the front of the shoulder. We'll hold for 30. Twenty more. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And make sure if you did do extra time on that other side that you do the same amount of time on this side. Now we're going into a hip stretch, a 90-90 stretch. Now, kind of like a pigeon if you've ever done yoga before, but a little bit more emphasis on stretching the adductor of the back leg, so the inside of the back leg. Let me get into it. I'm gonna show you some of the important parts about it, and then you can join me, okay? So in the 90-90, we are creating 90-degree angles with the front knee and the back knee, but also with the hip. So I like to joke that it's like a 90-90-90, not just a 90-90, because there's 3 90-degree angles. Anyways, 90 degrees with this front leg, 90 degrees with this back leg. So this is not 90. I need to extend this leg out. Now, it's really easy to just like sit into this like you're watching TV or something. This is not what we're looking for. The hard part about this is going to be getting the pelvis like flat with the floor and like facing downward, not to the side like I am now. So place both hands onto the floor and start pulling this front, like the glute of this front leg out away from you, okay? So it's like I'm trying to get this glute to touch the floor, and at the same time, this back knee, I'm gonna scoot it away from me, okay? That's where that adductor stretch also comes in. So this glute that way, this knee that way. That way we're trying to flatten the pelvis. See that? Flatten the pelvis toward the floor. Now from here, walk the hands forward. If you can, you're just gonna hang out here with your hands ahead of you. There's no need to come forward more. The key to stretching the hips, whether it's the glutes or even the hamstrings, is the position of your spine. It's directly correlated with how you can stretch your lower body. So if you are in flexion, you are not going to get that hip stretch. So go ahead and join me now if you're not already in the stretch, and I want you to get into this position. I'll kind of walk through those cues again. We got 90, 90, 90. Okay? That back knee coming out and away. This front glute and front knee coming out and away. Trying to flatten the pelvis, the front of the pelvis, down toward the floor. Then walk your hands forward and keep the back straight, okay? Open your chest like you're trying to pull your chest through your shoulders. Notice when you change the shape of the spine and you tilt the pelvis, huge stretch through the glute of the front leg. That's the primary area that we're stretching, is the glute of this front leg. You are also gonna get a stretch through this area too. Now, if it's too hard to come forward, you can just stay upright. And if you can't reach the floor, use blocks or any type of object like your bench or a step or, again, an ottoman to help keep you upright, okay? Now, I have the mobility to be able to hang out here with a straight spine. I'm gonna have you hold for another 30 seconds. We're gonna do a full minute of this one. "20 more seconds. I'm not lying. I don't have a timer set up, okay? Sue me. I'm going based on my ability to count down from 10 6 times, even while talking. But I feel like we're going to approximately be at the amount that we should be, although the timestamps will tell you if I'm right or not. Let's say about 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, slowly come out of it by bringing this back leg forward. So you can shake out the legs a little bit, and then we'll switch sides, okay? All right. 90, 90, 90. 90 here, 90 here, 90 with that back leg, okay? Now from here, I'm just sitting on this glute. We don't want that. So we're gonna bring this front glute out wider while we're bringing this back knee the opposite way, out wider, trying to flatten the inside of this back thigh toward the floor. Now, I already know this side's harder because my body leans into like this front leg more. It's harder for me to stay upright. Like I can barely stay upright with this side. And that's something I already know about myself. I'll face you just a little bit more there. Hands on the floor or up on a prop if you need it. And we're gonna hold here. Engage the shoulder blades, open up the chest, pull the chest through the shoulders, and tilt the pelvis by creating a little arch through the back. Your back might not actually arch, but we're just looking for that to like try and happen, right? I'd say we're about halfway. I guess I could pause and grab a timer, but I don't got time for that. About 20 more seconds. And then we just have one more exercise, a strengthening exercise. I like to end with strengthening because it just sets our body up for success. Our body remembers what we did last. And I really want to get strong right before. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come out of that. And then you're gonna be on your stomach, on your mat. So if it's difficult for you to be on your stomach and look at me, I would just wait a moment so I can at least show you what we're doing, and then you can join me on the floor. Okay, so you're gonna be on your stomach. We're doing what's called a McKenzie Press Up. The hands are right underneath, or right outside of the chest, elbows straight up to the ceiling, your forehead toward the floor. You're gonna relax your legs. So your legs are gonna be completely relaxed, toes are pointed. Don't squeeze the glutes. I know it's gonna be really hard, but I want you to fully relax those legs. It's really challenging. We're gonna inhale and bring our torso up, kind of like a baby cobra if you've ever done a yoga class. The difference here is that in a cobra and yoga, you tend to lift up, and notice my pelvis. So if you keep your eyes right here, my pelvis starts to lift. We don't want that. We're not going up that high, because once we do that, we're getting a lot more glutes and hamstrings, and that's not our goal. We are trying to target the low back and the low back only, nothing else, okay? That's why we have to keep the booty and the thighs and the hamstrings and the calves completely relaxed and unused. So go ahead and join me on the floor, and I'm gonna talk you through the rest of it. Okay, so hands right outside the chest. Legs are extended, tops of the feet on the floor, forehead all the way to the ground. Mine is not, just because I want you to be able to hear me without muffling. So forehead onto the ground. Keep your chin tucked the whole time. From here, let's inhale, peeling the front of our body up off of the mat, only as far as you can before your hips start to lift or engage. I already felt, look at that, my glutes were engaged. I'm relaxing my glutes, and then I'm exhaling on the way down. We're doing 10. Inhale. Lift, lift, lift. Pause before the legs, glutes start to work and the pelvis lifts. Exhale down. That's 2. Make sure your head does not lift. Keep your chin tucked and your eyes straight down toward your mat, not ahead of you. This is 4. Exhaling down. Halfway. My hands are definitely here to stabilize and help, but they're not necessarily pressing me up. Make sure the low back is what's lifting you up. 4 more. Shoulders stay down. Chest is open, so pull those shoulder blades down towards your back pockets to keep your shoulders away from your ears. 2 more. Last one. I am feeling my low back, a little bit of my mid back. Inhale. It's small. It doesn't need to be big. Exhale. All the way down. And when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up. Thank you so much for joining me. It's such an honor to be able to coach you, and I'm really excited you chose this mobility class. It's an important one. I hope that you found it helpful, and I hope that you integrate it into your life daily if you can. It will really help with your mobility and your overall posture, which translates into lifting stronger, being more comfortable in your lifts, having better movement mechanics, and also minimizing pain and discomfort. I'm Nicolette Amarillas. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you next time.